Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath, concluding our Bash the Bigots week. Coming up, the delusion of SheWon.org. First though, a gay man whose father disowned him because religion has corrected the 81-year-old's obituary. It said James J. Becker from Connecticut in America would most be remembered for his love of people, but son Timothy McLaughlin wasn't having that. His rival obituary revealed how his dad cut him off when he chose to leave the Jehovah's Witnesses, who think homosexuality is a sin. Here's how the faith tells children why gay marriage is wrong.
What matters is how Jehovah feels. He wants us to be happy, and he knows how we can be happiest. That's why he invented marriage the way he did.
You mean one man and one woman?
Exactly. Look at Genesis 1:27. Jehovah created Adam and Eve, male and female.
The word you're thinking of is indoctrination. Timothy also exposed how his relatives refused to meet his husband or their adopted son and snubbed his wedding.
Pride Daily.
Next, the homophobic wife of the ex-deputy president of Kenya had her Facebook account suspended for 3 days. Dorcas Rigathi violated community standards by saying there's no place for queer people in Africa. The pastor also called for the rejection of immorality. Her husband was kicked out of his job in 2024 for a number of things, including corruption and abuse of office, which also sounds quite immoral.
Pride Daily.
And we'll wrap up with the boneheads at SheWon.org. The site lists cisgender female athletes and the events it's claimed they would have won if they hadn't been beaten by a trans woman. Competitions include poker, video games and under-14s Irish dancing, plus a hot dog eating contest that was, in any case, won by a biological female. SheWon.org doesn't seem to have been updated for a while, so maybe the bedwetters behind it finally have some love in their lives. Probably not.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath, all back to normal. Coming up, the transgender allies digging deep once again. First though, a month on from the killing of Renee Good in America, her girlfriend appears in public for the first time. The 37-year-old mother of three was shot dead by an immigration officer in Minneapolis at the behest of a well-known orange-convicted felon and sexual abuser. Becca Good's been at a memorial in the city with a statement read out on her behalf by Rabbi Ariel Lakach-Rosen.
I want Renee and our family to be known for how we practiced radical kindness every day. Seeing the world now celebrate the parts of her that I've always known, the kindness, the humor, the warmth, reminds me of her spirit. Perfect motion.
Thanks to WCCO and KSTP TV. Hundreds of people turned out for the memorial at Powderhorn Park. Renee was shot 3 times, including in the head, whilst peacefully protesting against the ICE immigration agency.
Pride Daily.
Next, a bisexual football referee's been beaten up outside his home in Germany just days after proposing to his boyfriend in front of 50,000 cheering fans. Pascal Kaiser's received threats online and had his address leaked since getting engaged on the pitch at a game between Cologne and Wolfsburg. He's been punched in the face by 3 men in his front garden and left with a black eye.
Pride Daily.
And Trans Lifeline's getting more than $600,000 thanks to the Magic the Gathering YouTube community. This is linked to a card game I don't really understand, but there are wizards involved, and the Tolarian Community College channel organises yearly fundraisers, tops the $560,000 donated last year. Trans Lifeline offers emotional and financial support to transgender people in the US and Canada. No time to tell you that. Gay Olympian Gus Kenworthy says he's received death threats and abuse since criticising ICE, the US immigration agency, the ones who killed Renee Good. The skier, who's half American, posted a photo last week of a message he'd seemingly peed in the snow at the Winter Games in Italy.
Queer Family Podcast.
If you've ever felt like your family didn't fit the traditional mold, this show is for you. I'm Jamie, host of the Queer Family Podcast. And every week, we highlight LGBTQIA+ families and the beautiful, unique ways we build and show up for our families in a world that wasn't designed for us. We celebrate, highlight, uplift, and normalize queer families because our stories deserve center stage. New episodes every Monday. Listen wherever you get your pods.
Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, gay snails. First though, we hear from a transgender woman who rescued a far-right bedwetter in the US because she's not dead inside like he is. Jake Lang organised a demonstration to incite hate in Minneapolis, where the ICE immigration agency's terrorising the city. But while hardly anyone showed up, hundreds of counter-protesters did and went after him. He ran away like a big Jessie, and Day Gottschalk let him into her car to escape. She later texted Lang this.
While I do not whatsoever support you or your ideals, I'm happy to see that you are going to be okay, and I hope this has some sort of impact on you, because the fear and urgency you felt trying to escape that crowd is what people here feel every day.
No reply, of course, because coward. Day also tells CNN she knows Lang wouldn't help her the same way.
I'm exactly what he stands against, which is like a trans woman and a person of color.
Lang was one of the rioters at the US Capitol on January 6, 2021. He was jailed but later pardoned by the orange convicted felon and sexual abuser.
Pride Daily.
Next, the organiser of a pride event in Hungary is facing prison. Gejza Buzás-Habel's been charged after a march in Pécs last October in defiance of a ban on LGBTQ+ parades. Its slogan was, "We will not bow to fear." The teacher and human rights activist could spend a year in jail.
Pride Daily.
And claims a book's been censored in Russia for not portraying homosexuality in animals as filthy, dirty and abhorrent. Its editor reckons non-judgmental references to same-sex behaviour have been deemed to violate the country's LGBT propaganda laws by nervous publishers. Victor Kovlin says this takes in snails, slugs and worms. He's now got to either challenge this nonsense or rewrite about half the book. No time to tell you that. A rainbow flag's been removed from New York's Stonewall National Monument to LGBTQ+ history as attempts by the US president to distract from the Epstein files continue to fall flat. Same-sex couples in the Philippines can now legally co-own property after a court ruling. And warnings have been issued to 2 contestants on South African Big Brother over transphobic comments about the show's first transgender housemate.
Pride Daily.
Oh, hi there. I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, widespread twerking. First though, after a rainbow flag was removed from New York's Stonewall National Monument to LGBTQ+ history, allies plan to put it back later. It disappeared from the flagpole there earlier this week at the behest of President Orange convicted felon and sexual abuser, because culture wars and Epstein distractions. City officials are inviting people to a re-raising ceremony in Christopher Park, next to the Stonewall Inn, where the modern queer rights movement started. J.W. Walker is a co-founder of the Reclaim Pride Coalition.
The only reason this is a national monument is because it honors the struggle of queer people for freedom and equality and liberty. And to remove a symbol of that is just the most ignorant, offensive and hateful thing.
Thanks to Pix 11 News. In the meantime, a worker from America's National Park Service has been sent to the site to try and raise an American flag. She was caught by a reporter from AMNY though, got all in his face, and then gave up.
Pride Daily.
Next, a transgender girl's taken her own life in California just months after a non-binary school friend did the same. Summer Devi Mehta stepped in front of a train on February 3rd. The 17-year-old left a letter saying she hoped her death would highlight the trans suicide epidemic and bring people together. Her friend Ash He, who was 15, was also struck by a train last March.
Pride Daily.
And Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show is being labelled gay pornography by a radical right-wing politician called Andy Ogles. I bet he does. The Republican denouncing what he referred to as widespread twerking, widespread grinding and pelvic thrusts, probably so upset he had to watch it back 15 times. In a lengthy statement, he's called for a government investigation of this pure smut. The show's received widespread praise for its message of unity. No time to tell you that the Mardi Gras LGBTQ+ film festival's kicking off today in Sydney. And you've got the Seen and Heard Festival in Dublin, showcasing new queer works from across the likes of theatre, comedy and cabaret.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, goats in underwear. First though, the rainbow flag is flying once again at New York's Stonewall National Monument. City officials have reinstated it during a rally at Christopher Park in Greenwich Village, seen as the birthplace of the modern queer rights movement. The flag was removed a few days ago as part of America's ongoing right-wing culture wars and attempts to distract from the Epstein files. Hundreds of people turned out to see the flag returned.
We will not be erased. We will not go back in the closet. No taking down of any flag will not remove us from our nation and the legacy that we have built.
Removing our flag was an act of violence by Trump's administration. It was handmade by Gilbert Baker, the man who created this flag. They stole the flag that he made. It's an absolute outrage. You have to show up and give your voice.
Thanks to Reuters, the pride flag's now being flown slightly higher than the American flag there.
Pride Daily.
Next, no surprise, but Tuesday's mass shooting in Canada is being exploited by anti-transgender hate-mongers. 8 people were killed in British Columbia, we think by Jessie Van Rootselaar, a trans teenager with a history of mental health problems who then shot herself. Radical right-wingers now falsely claiming an epidemic of attacks by transgender people, while one of their news outlets of choice, the Daily Telegraph's asking, are cross-sex drugs driving trans shooters to kill? I'd presumed we're still in the thoughts and prayers stage. Apparently not.
Pride Daily.
And children at schools in England will be allowed to take steps to socially transition as long as their parents are in the loop. But new government guidance says, regardless of gender identity, kids will have to use toilets and changing rooms in line with their biological sex. Pupils can have the preferred pronouns respected in the classroom, though. No time to tell you that. Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras starts today, as does the final National Student Pride, at least in its current form, in the UK. Tomorrow's Pink Triangle Day in Canada, celebrating queer love and resistance. And also this weekend, you've got Arizona Gay Rodeo, including a competition to dress goats in underwear. They do this every year, and it's all family-friendly, so they say.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. On a Saturday, got an extra edition of the podcast, something we couldn't fit in through the week, and just wanted you to hear. So, queer ice hockey drama Heated Rivalries inspired a man in Ireland to share his experiences from his younger years as a Gaelic football player. As you may well know, the TV show features rivals Shane and Ilya as they fall for each other and navigate a secret relationship. Well, Ireland's RTE Radio 1's been hearing from a man in a straight marriage who says he was seeing a male sporting opponent on the down low 30 years ago. Presenter Brendan O'Connor read out his listener's letter, first outlining how the relationship began with the offer of a drink in the clubhouse.
He pointed to the top shelf with the spirits and the liqueurs and asked me what would I fancy. My reply was, I fancy you actually. There was no look of surprise, no blush. He asked for a lift home, which I gave, and as he got out of the car, he leaned across and kissed me on the side of my face and said, see you. Soon, I hope.
The pair found ways to be together covertly for the next 2.5 years.
Just like in Heated Rivalry, we stayed distant except for an after-match drink with the teams and left separately to meet later. We arranged to go on, quotes, training courses, which sometimes did not exist, but was an opportunity to get to know each other and just to be together. Staying in the same room in a hotel was not unusual for guys travelling together.
Sadly, the relationship came to an abrupt end.
After 2.5 years of happiness, comfortable conversations and intimacy, he disappeared from my life. I have not seen or heard from him in all that time. But guess what? I think about him every single day since. And I still love him, even though we never said it to each other.
The man wonders how their life together might have panned out, and he tells people watching Heated Rivalry to look past the sex and see and feel the intimacy of Scott and Ilya's relationship. And it's only right we give this man the last word.
I still have difficulty 30 years later. He could find me again, I'm confident of that. I don't know if it will ever happen, but hope springs eternal.
Thanks once again to RTE Radio 1 and Brendan O'Connor. Don't forget, you can help shape the future of Pride Daily by filling in our survey. A link's in the show notes. That's your lot. I'll see you next week.